Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video. So today I'm gonna do something a little bit different than what I usually do. I'm gonna talk about one of my working experience here, more specifically working at McDonald's in Norway. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is probably what people want to know, is wages. Like, how much money do we make at working at McDonald's? The current wages now is around, I think, 156 kroners per hour, which is around, I think, $16. In the past, it used to be a lot more, not because the salary has gone down, because Norwegian kroners has become very weak in the past few years, and especially right now because everybody knows what's going on these days. So in the past, it used to be around $25, and again, not because the salary in Norway has gone down, because the salary in Norway usually only goes up. So the reputation at McDonald's is pretty much what you expect everywhere. The stereotypes are usually something like, it's a slave contract, it's a slave job, it's poor salary, it's a very harsh environment, etc., etc. Usually a lot of negative stereotype. Well, that may be true if you're working at McDonald's in America or anywhere else in the world, because the salary in America is not good for McDonald's worker if you compare them to Norway. And you can pretty much say the same thing about a lot of the third world countries. I don't know what each countries make, but their salary is probably not even close to maybe 5% to what we make here. The McDonald's salary in Norway goes up every year. Never down, only up. So the way it works, I worked at McDonald's for 4 years. Every year, all of the workers go up a little bit, 2-3 kroners per year. But then also, if you have worked 2 years, you will go up a little bonus raise. That's for everyone too. So if you work 2 years, let's say you go up 4 kroners, then of course you add up the salary go up every year. So sometimes you can go up 7 kroners during that year. And of course you get a little bit extra paid if you're working during the evening or weekend, or especially during the red days. Red days are in holidays where it's supposed to be your day off. For example, Christmas time, Easter, and etc. So you get the double pay per hour. So if you were to make 154 kroners per hour, then you will get the double of it per hour. So it's a really decent day. So is the McDonald's salary considered high in Norway? Well, I would say it's okay, because it does not require anything from you. You can be someone who dropped out of high school and started working at McDonald's and starting up a career, and not a lot of people do that, but I seen during my time some people I heard he or she never went to high school or never even finished, and they just worked at McDonald's and started working their way up. However, if you're just working at McDonald's full time, you will mostly be affording to pay your rent, and you can go shopping, and you can afford to go to vacation every year, if of course the money is managed properly. So you can go out and drink, go out and eat, and not every day of course, but you can do these small decent things once in a while, and you can live a pretty well-off life on the McDonald's salary in Norway. And again, compare the salary to a lot of other countries, Norway is absolutely considered really high. I think in America it's you get paid $9 per hour, and it has stayed the same for a long time, maybe almost 10 years. And I know back in my own country, China, the people working at McDonald's making even less. Maybe I think they make $2-3 per hour. I don't know, something along those lines. So the next part, I want to talk about the working environment at McDonald's in Norway. So obviously a lot of these stereotypes that it's a slave contract, it's a slave job, you get paid a few kroners per hour, it's obviously all just something what people believe in. But that's fine. So from my personal experience, I would say that my personal experience working at McDonald's has been like 9 out of 10 times has been very good. Of course, I made a lot of friends from McDonald's and people who I even stay in touch with today. Almost every year, McDonald's is ranked pretty high on the Great Workplace ranking in Norway. They usually, a lot of the time they rank the top 10 of the best place to work, where people are satisfied here, they like their co-workers, they like the bosses, they like the environment, they feel great about the job. Obviously not everybody is happy, but I would say like most people are satisfied with their job. But with all that being said, during my time I have seen a lot of dramas. I have been in a few dramas. I haven't get along with absolutely everybody, and I have seen people argue as well. And of course, I have sometimes seen people being fired, although that's very rare. Not a lot of people have been fired, at least not what I know. The source of the dramas usually comes from when people want to fight for higher positions, like they want to be the assistant manager of the restaurant, and usually there's like 1 or 2 spots available, and people want to try to get close to the boss and be best friend with somebody in the top if there is it, so they can climb the ladder a little faster. That's when, of course, again, when a lot of gossips happen, and gossip is a very common thing, and talking shit about the bosses is kind of common as well, and yeah, I have done that and I have heard that. So overall, I would say it's a friendly workplace. Now the work itself, I would say it can be very stressful, a lot to do, especially when there's like a rush hours where there's a lot of people and you sometimes have to handle 6 to 8 orders all by yourself, and especially when you have a lot of people who are sick today, then of course you have under labor, then obviously you're gonna struggle. But from my experience, as long as you can keep your head cool and don't panic and just take a breath along the way, you will do fine. Now the customers, 95% of the time I have met is usually friendly and nice towards me and very respectful. But of course you do get occasionally these kind of, how do I say? For lack of a better word, those morons or idiots who complain okay, they waited 5 minutes for their food and they start complaining, where is my food? I know McDonald's is fast food, you're supposed to get the food immediately, but even fast food takes a few minutes to, they need to cook the food. So the last part is probably for the people who have a dream to want to move to Norway, and that is the opportunity here. So I do once in a while get people asking me if they can work in Norway without speaking Norwegian. Again, I will say this over and over, that if you're gonna live in Norway, the best for you to do is to learn Norwegian, because it will make your life a lot easier here. But the answer is, can you find a job in Norway without speaking Norwegian? Well, yes. And in this case, at McDonald's is a great opportunity for you if you want to work in Norway, because during my time I usually saw a lot of people who were working at McDonald's and from a lot of foreign countries, mainly Eastern Europeans, and a lot of them didn't speak a lot of Norwegian, maybe a few basic words, but their main language they were just speaking English. And if you speak English, that can get you a job. And because if you only speak English at McDonald's in Norway, then you only get to work in the kitchen, where you don't have to communicate with the customers. And also a lot of the time either you have to work in the kitchen, or you have to just clean in the back room, or just clean the table outside and do something where you don't require to communicate with the customers. And a lot of the foreign workers at McDonald's, a lot of them eventually kind of learn Norwegian, and at some point they can speak fluently, and they even start to work in a cashier where they can talk to the customers. And a lot of people kind of find a lot of success career in Norway by just working at McDonald's. So if you have a plan to move to Norway, and if you think you can handle work pressure in a place like McDonald's, then McDonald's is a good opportunity for you to step your foot in Norway, and it's a good opportunity. So consider that if you think it's something you can do. So I really hope people find this video to be, I guess, interesting. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.